Welcome to the Blizzard Project. Part number 3, the build. Enjoy. So this is all going to be in fast forward, so just to get it done a little bit quicker, because I did spend a lot of time doing this. I think this is about 6 or 7 times fast forward. So the train is going to go in, bolted it down to the main plate. It's got those little spacers just to drop it down, so the differential can be in line with the outdrive of that transmission. Takes a bit of time to get those fiddly spacers in place. Once that's all buttoned up, I just take a look and double check where the motors are going to go. Of course, at this point in time, I've decided to put it in the front. I'm now actually pushing it to the back beside the transmission. You'll see that in the next video. So taking a look at one of those drive cogs. Again, they're just bushings, not even bearings. So that's something I'm going to need to change out. I can find some of the right size. They're a bit odd size. They're like 11 by 6 or some weird thing. So just clean all the parts for the outdrive. Again, you can see the little brake disc there. That's part of the outdrive. That's what helps it turn. In this mode, or this model, it has a little differential in the brake disc, so you can brake one side or the other, and it will make the vehicle turn. Of course, using my most favorite water removal slash lubricant, just to keep it all fresh. I usually add a little bit of oil as I put parts together, and it's a really light bearing oil I use. You'll see a tube come out when I put the drive shaft in. So again, this is that little bearing holder. The drive line goes through, attaches to the front gear via the real rudimentary chain that's on the desk. So once that's in, I have to put the brake assembly in, which means those 2 long screws and their associated brake pads. There's little nuts going on now just to get that all taken together. For the longer screws, I'll tell you that power driver is really handy. So out come the brake bits. The little push rods are connected to basically the brake cam. So it's got a pad, and it has a little fiber washer, basically, kind of like the disc pad part. And there's a little bit of oil. It's going to go on to make it all lubricated. You know, anything thick, because it's just in the cold it will really bind up, so use thin bearing oil. Works out pretty well. Now I'm just setting all the tension on the brake discs. You want it to be free, but really close. You don't want any excess movement of the servo, or your steering will be really slow acting. So I'm now working on the other side. Again, those silver brake pads go on with their little fiber washers, and reverse on the other side. Tighten the nuts. Now this side I have a really loose nut that doesn't have much of the fiber washer on it, so I break out the Loctite. It's the red you're dead version of Loctite, 222 red. Now don't be afraid, because that's all metal parts. I can go and heat that up fairly easily to get it off if I need to. So there's a differential going in, same as like a diff in any of the trucks and cars in RC land these days. It's got a fairly thick coating of oil on the inside of it. That's to help slow the action right to left down, so one side doesn't diff out all the time. So when I don't have a brake applied, it'll want to go straight. I got the chain gear on one side after popping off the outdrive gear, putting on the chain on the other side. Now these are adjustable by the front bearing riders. You can move them in and out a little bit, about a millimeter or so. Just helps tighten up the chain. So now we're back to the chassis plate, where I put on that transmission. With the transmission on, I'm just adding some of the bits of plastic I pulled off earlier when I cleaned it. So mounting hardware. With that in place, I can put that little collet on the center of the driveline and connect the transmission to the differential. So now we need a motor mount. In this segment I'm still stuck on the front motor mounting, but that'll soon clear up in the next video. So I did eventually decide to put the motor behind the spur gear just for location and helping to support that motor mount. Now this is not the actual motor mount, this is just a template. For now I'm just sketching out how much room I need for the motor, where the hole's going to be for the screw mounting and the center hole, that kind of thing. I'm going to go through and just scribe with the calipers here, lines, and then just make them black so it's easier to see. So I apologize for being kind of off the screen. Didn't realize at the time. I just flipped the camera on and started doing stuff. I was puttering late at night. So I basically edited out all the times I was watching the video and not actually doing work. So grab my nice little step drill. This nice thing with this drill is it doesn't tend to wander. I don't have to actually center punch anything. I can actually just slap it on there, and it tends to stay put. And then I got the other drill out. It's a little faster, going all the way through. Once I get a couple holes drilled, and this is just basically fiberboard. They call it hardboard. Other kind of stuff. It's just MDF. It's not even MDF. That's LDF, low density fiberboard. Easily moldable, easily carvable. You can just take the knife to it and carve chunks out. And so now I'm working on the center hole, making sure I got room for the pinion hole. And some of the motors actually have a ring around where the bearing sits, and you have to allow for that. So that's why I kind of got that hole there. But this motor I'm going to use right now does not have that. So I slap the pinion back on, and I can see if I can move the motor back and forth, and I can. I have room to put a bigger pinion, so I'm probably going to have to go pretty big on the pinion with the gear down setup. Looking at the other model that you can get with the different transmission, it's just a one gear reduction, where this one has two. I might be a little slow out of the gate with this crawler. Well, it is a crawler, but I kind of want it to go pretty quick sometimes too, so. Which is why I chose a 10.5 motor instead of something a lot slower like a 21.5 or even a VTA motor, which is 25.5. So right here I'm just cleaning up, making sure I have it all looking nice. Again, this is just a template, just so I have room to bolt on the motor, have room for the shaft, and also mounting locations. You see two little crosses on the bottom. To mount into the chassis. Now this motor mount is going to be in aluminum. I'm going to get it CNC'd at work, so it should be nice to when I get that all done. If you could hit the like button down below, you can always subscribe, comment, and share. I'll see you guys later for the next episode of the Blizzard Reborn.